It is a pleasure to be joined by Charlie Leary on the back of a fantastic performance against Kiefer Crosbie in Milan this weekend. So much to talk about here, Charlie. But first of all, how does it feel? A huge prospect. You went in there and you went to war. The fight was unbelievable. How does it feel to come out the other side of this?
Mate, it feels great. It feels absolutely amazing. I knew it was going to be a war. That guy is tough as it comes. I've watched him from his beginning, from when he was fighting back on Bama. I knew the kid come to fight. And that's what really got me up for it, man. He's a great guy. And what a fight it was, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. We were talking to some people from Bellator, and they said this win for you meant a bit more than any of the others. I heard you were in, as many people are, a bad financial situation going into this fight with 2020 and stuff. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah. I mean, obviously everyone's going through a bad time and things, but when I signed with Bellator, I'd finally turned pro full time. So I'd quit my job, got the Bellator contract, went full time. I'd teach some privates and things like that, do a bit of teaching at the gym as well, just to make ends meet in between the fights. So when my fight got cancelled, I was meant to be fighting in May, wasn't it? So the gym shut down in March, my fight got cancelled May, and I pretty much went a year without making any money from Bellator. But also I then went 6 months, I wasn't making any money from any of my privates or anything like that. So I ended up going back on universal credit. Luckily, thank God that they helped out, because the government obviously said I hadn't been self-employed long enough to get the grants or any of these self-employment schemes or anything like that. So it was worrying times. My wife was heavily pregnant with our second child. So she was then on maternity leave. So she was only getting minimal pay, statutory maternity pay as well. So it was worrying times, mate. I've got to admit, it was getting a little bit stressed. I'm lucky that I've got family that helped me out. My dad helped me out a little bit. My mum helped me out. But yeah, it was nice to get back financially and be able to put food on the table again myself.
That must be an incredible release of emotion when you do get that victory. Like, that's unbelievable that you had that much on your shoulders as well going into this fight. It nearly makes it way more impressive than it already is, you know? What did that feel like?
Thank you.
What did that feel like?
It was a weird one, because obviously, I don't know, most people know you obviously get your purse, and then you get pretty much double or whatever it is for your win bonus. So going in there and fighting was a great relief, and it was good for me. And I could, with the show money, I could clear my debts and stuff like that maybe. But being able to win and get the win bonus as well means that I can actually, like I say, put food on the table and come off a universal credit and actually start providing again for the family. Brilliant. So it's a really nice situation to be in.
Brilliant. I'm so chuffed for you, man. That is absolutely amazing. That is what the stories like that make this sport amazing, and that is truly
that is it.
Top class. I got to ask you, there's so many talking points from this fight. It's unbelievable. So first of all, let's go through it as it went chronologically. It appeared that Kiefer rocked you early. A lot of people were talking about this, but you kind of rallied straight away and got back in his face. But he landed a few elbows off a single leg, I think you had, and it looked a bit hairy for a second. How bad was the situation, Charlie?
You know what? That wasn't actually I wasn't actually that hurt when that happened. He'd actually hurt me. I say hurt. I wasn't hurt as in like, oh God, I'm in trouble.
On the brink,
But early on, I thought I established my jab quite well when we first started, and I got a little bit lazy, and he hit me with a left hook that cut me, but it had also blurred all my vision in my eye. It really affected me. I couldn't see out my right eye. And if you notice early on, before the drop, I circle off and I back up to the cage a little bit, and I'm lucky he didn't rush in, because I was struggling to see. I blinked it out and it went away, but for about 20 seconds I couldn't see out my right eye. I thought the cut was a lot worse or something like that, and that was the trouble. But yeah, so I thought, no, I'm all right. I blinked it out. I circled around, and then thought, okay, I've got to stay away from that left hand. And then I overreached again, and he caught me with the other left, which, like I say, I didn't feel, it wasn't like I felt rocked, but my feet obviously went, didn't I? Hit the canvas, reacted, and maybe I took too many elbows on the way up, and they are dangerous. It was something we worked on and something we'd looked at. He's really dangerous with them elbows, and the knees from there. So yeah, when I was coming up, maybe I took a few too many, but I didn't feel in too much danger. While I was in close and I was in contact with him, I felt like I was still in the fight. And then I just go into the mode where I go, okay, he's hit me, I've got to bite down and let's go to war. Do you know what I mean?
Jeez,
Well, it was absolutely fabulous to watch. You rally after that was unbelievable. Like the whole fight was like, I felt like I didn't breathe for the 5 minutes of that first round. But what was going on in your head there when you're bearing down on him? It's like you gave him no space whatsoever. And I noticed Kiefer was still trying to land that big shot because he probably thought I have him in trouble there. But you were on volume, and staying on him. What's going through your head in those moments?
This was it. I've been in them sort of fights before. I've been in the deep waters and stuff like that. I think that's what give me the advantage in this fight. I've been in them sort of wars, and I've got the experience to know. Okay, now I've got to clean my shots up a little bit. He was looking for that one big shot where he realised if he can hit me, he can hurt me. But the trouble is, he then started taking shots, which was hurting him, and I'd landed a few more than he was landing that one big one. So in my head, I was just thinking, keep landing and stay composed. You know what I mean? Keep landing, stay composed, and I'll overcome. And like I say, in the end, the more shots I landed, the less his was having an effect. And yeah, it just seemed to go to plan, didn't it, by the end?
A lot of people felt as though the fight could have been stopped in that first round. That was what the big commentary I saw online was. What did you think? Were you in a situation where you're landing shots from the top going, this is over?
You know what? I actually spoke to the referee afterwards. Back at the hotel, because I'd seen a lot of people, and I got back and my manager was there and a few other people were there, and they're going, oh, it should have been stopped, and apparently he's getting some abuse online. And to be fair, I said to him, no, if that was me, I would not have wanted that fight to have been stopped, just as Kiefer wouldn't have. And in the change rooms, the refs come around, they explain the rules and how they're going to ref it and what they're going to do and what they're going to say. And he said straight away, look, if you're in trouble, I will give you a chance. I'll tell you to defend. Try and defend intelligently. If you just cover, then it's not intelligent, and move and scramble. And to be honest, I felt like Kiefer was doing that. When every time the referee said something, he moved right. Do you know what I mean? He'd done that, and I felt like he was doing what he needed to stay in the fight. Now, don't get me wrong, I've watched it again, and right at the end of the first round, obviously I'll drop him again and get on top. Now, every chance, if there's 10 more seconds, maybe I start landing and overwhelm him and the fight finishes. But end of the day, there wasn't 10 more seconds. So I feel like the ref done exactly the right thing. He let him fight out of it. And if it wasn't for the cut, Kiefer would have come out in the second round, wouldn't he? So it wasn't a bad stoppage, or it shouldn't have been a stoppage, I don't think. And that was it. It's just a shame that it was finished on the cut.
Yeah. I was gonna say that to you. In fairness, the credit Kiefer. Like, I mean, that was an overwhelming display you put on towards the end of that first. And he's up, he's standing there, he's right, he's beckoning. Let's go, let's do this.
Yeah.
Were you surprised when the referee waved it off? Like the angle the camera was at, right? They were looking at his left eye, I think it was. But
they're looking at his cheek.
Was it his cheek? Was it?
Well, no, this is it. The cameras were looking at the cut under his left eye, under his cheek, but it wasn't that stopped it. His right eyelid was cut from the inside, coming across the top of his eyelid.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So I looked, and mate, to be fair, that sort of cut's horrendous. You do not want that sort of ripping or getting damaged. It's really hard to heal up and stitch up. So it wasn't the cuts that people see, because a lot of people I see, I shouldn't have been stopped on that cut. It wasn't the one that you can see that was the trouble. It was his eyelid. If you look at the pictures afterwards, his right eyeyelid is actually dropping down. He can't lift it properly. Where it's cut on the top of his eyelid.
I thought it looked bad. You know, during the rounds as well. It looked like Kiefer couldn't.
Oh no, there was definitely damage, but I was just saying from the camera angle that they showed when they were stopping, it was hard for people to see. Yeah.
No, I understand why there's a bit of controversy, and I understand why they're saying, if he was going to stop it, why didn't he stop it in the fight? But it wasn't the referee's decision. It was the doctor that come in and looked. And if you notice how quickly the doctor stopped it, he looked and went, no, it's straight over. Listen, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. Kiefer may be sitting at home now, looking in the mirror going, it's not actually that bad. But the doctor thought it was. When you've got a cut on your eyelid, you've got to be safe, man.
Of course.
Listen, there's nothing worse. Could you imagine that he comes out and I rip his eyelid open, or even worse, and then he's out forever or something like that? Thank God he can actually heal up and he'll be back again, man, won't he? The guy's a beast.
Because I thought, and a lot of people sort of said online as well, it was actually the point probably about 30 seconds before the end of the round where you were landing shots on Kiefer against the cage, where the referee actually could have stopped the fight.
Yeah, I think that was it. When he started stumbling back and the cage almost held him up, and then I landed more just before he dropped. That was the only moment I thought the ref might step in here. And when he dropped, I'm thinking, but the 10 seconds went, I heard the clapper, and I think for the ref to have stopped it then would have been a little bit harsh on Kiefer. Do you know what I mean? He's been in the fight. It's not like he got overwhelmed the whole round. It wasn't like he'd taken an absolute beating for 5 minutes. It was a great fight, and I think the ref done exactly the right thing and let him fight out of it. Do you know what I mean? If I was in Kiefer's position, I would have wanted to fight out of it as well. So
does the stoppage take away from the win for you in any sort of respect?
Only I think in view of people that haven't seen the cut, don't realise the sport. Do you know what I mean? If people look at it and go, "Oh, it only stopped because the doctor stopped it," it would never have stopped before or after. But I mean, you watch that fight. Everyone's going to enjoy watching that fight for years to come, hopefully. And I feel personally, obviously, I feel like I would have got the finish in the second round anyway. But it is what it is. You can't odds these things, can you? What are we going to do? If it was any different, I would have wanted the fight to carry on if it was on my side. But with cuts like that, you've got to be careful, ain't you? So
best round I've watched this year in Bellator MMA.
Absolutely,
thank you.
I was gonna say, Charlie. It's not only you've claimed a scalp over one of the most talked about guys in the UK and Ireland. Now you have this amazing fight. Everyone's talking about it. So this is a new thing. Now this is even bigger things you can go on to now. Are you excited about what's next? Tell us what you're feeling. Like what do you feel would be a nice step up from Kiefer if that's the way we're going to go?
You know what? The thing is, Kiefer is like I say, he was one of the biggest prospects around. He was one of the guys. He beats me. They're all talking about where he's going next, aren't they? And how good the guy is. Yeah. So I want a legit top guy. Do you know what I mean? I personally think Pitbull's going to be a good one. Give me Pitbull. Queeley's out, and Queeley's broke his hand bad. We need a main event, someone to step in against Pitbull. He's always been up there. That sort of fight. Do you know what I mean? Pitbull comes to fight. It's going to be exciting. You can't lose with that. Do you know what I mean? I think it'll be great ratings. It'll be great TV. And that sort of fight is what I'm looking for. I want one of these big names, one of the Americans, one of the Brazilians, someone to main card, main event, and push on from there. Like I say, I've been around the block a lot, man. I've been here a long time. I've got a lot of experience. You look at my record, and people from the outside and newer people and stuff will look and go, "Oh, he's not that great." But if you look at the guys I've fought, the positions I've been in, and all that sort of thing, a lot of my losses were early on in my career, where I made stupid mistakes and taking silly fights at silly weights and things like that. I think I've just got to push now, and it's time to really step up. Do you know what I mean? Get my profile out there a bit more.
Definitely, it must have been lovely as well to just put the proverbial 2 fingers up, because a lot of people were writing you off going into this fight. We didn't. We said it was Kiefer's toughest test going into this fight in the show, but that must have been a really nice feeling for you as well.
Yes, it was. Yeah, that is a nice feeling to obviously prove people wrong all the time. But I'll tell you what was a nice feeling was when I'd read what Kiefer had said, and he wasn't writing me off. Yes, he was looking to beat me, and obviously you always do, and he was talking about fighting Miles Jury and stuff like that. But I'd seen a few posts and people were saying, "Oh, you're fighting a nobody," or whatever it is. And he backed it up and went, "No, mate, I'm fighting Charlie. He's a legit top guy." Do you know what I mean? So it was nice to have that recognition on the inside. I know John Kavanagh is coach, obviously, and I've got a lot of respect for him. And I know they've taken that seriously. So with my career, as long as guys like yourself, the media, the people in the sport, Bellator and the officials and all that sort of thing, as long as I've got the respect and I get the admiration from them sort of guys, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean? It's that's the people that I want to be going, "No, Charlie is tough. Charlie is really good. This is one of the guys." So I'm happy.
Certainly have from us.
What was the conversation like with Kiefer afterwards? I saw you guys. Did you just have a drink together afterwards, or what was that conversation like?
Oh yeah, I see him in the bar afterwards. I had a chat with him and stuff. Like I say, he's such a nice guy, man. The whole team down there is really nice. I get on with them. It's a shame. I fought a couple of their guys. A couple of our guys have fought theirs as well. I think we fought 4 different times against SBG now. And me and the coach were actually saying to John and Kiefer at the bar afterwards, said, "Is there any chance we could stop fighting each other now and actually come and train together and do a little bit?" Because we like the guys, man. They're real nice guys. Such a great team. And yeah, it's Admiral. It's like mutual respect between us. You can't be in a fight like that and not respect each other, can you? I mean,
100%.
we put it all on the line for 5 minutes, and you can't not respect the guy afterwards. So it was good to have a little chat with him and make sure he's all right. And like I say, man, I personally, my coach said, and I personally feel like that's probably one of the best things that's happened to him. He's lost to a legit top guy who's got a lot of experience, and he will learn. I've learned more from my losses than I've ever learned from wins and stuff, and he'll learn from that, and he will be back an absolute beast. I know he will.
But is it fair to say that a rematch wouldn't be your priority? I see some people online, obviously a lot of Kiefer Crosbie fans talking about rematch and stuff like this, but I mean, it wouldn't be your priority. Is that correct?
Of course not. I mean, my priority is to try and get a main event against, like I say, Pitbull, one of these top guys. Give me one of these guys. I mean, I know Henderson's coming off of a loss, but he's still one of the top guys in the thing. One of these top guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got the respect for Kiefer, and if they say there's a rematch, and then we do the rematch. I think that still sells big. But no, my priority is to move on and get a big top 10 name and go from there.
Was there any talks with the brass? You mentioned that there. You want to kick on and get a top 10 guy like Pitbull. Was there any immediate talks with any of the Bellator top ranked guys after?
Well, I spoke to a couple of little people in afterwards, but the trouble was I hadn't drunk since New Year's Eve, and then I'd had a couple of Jack Daniels and stuff, so I don't even remember what I was saying to most of them. I was probably talking absolute gibberish. But,
you deserve
I
man.
had a little conversation, and like I say, listen, I feel like I'm always in exciting fights. I'm always in the fight, no matter how bad it is or how good it is, as in like how much trouble I'm in. I'm always in the fight, and I will always bring 100%, and I'm going until I'm stopped. You know what I mean? So whoever they put in front of me, I'm going to make it a fight.
Loved it.
But I feel like I'm at that time now. I want to be on the main cards. I want to be in the main events. I want to put on the shows and make people come and watch. Do you know what I mean?
Charlie, I've been dying to ask you, what does 917 mean? Please explain it to me. Every time, like, I need to ask him that, and I only think about it when they call out your name before fights. I'm like, what is 917?
Yeah. It's a bit random, but we'd gone to Magaluf for one of my cornermen, Danny's stag do, and there was actually three stags. There's about 40 of us over there. We was with MC Sparks and Kai. They were part of it as well. Wow. So there was a lot of people around, and in Magaluf, every single bar has got one of them punch machines. So everyone's going on and hitting this score and that score, and then I went on it, and finally, I got the top score on the machine, which was 917, and everyone was like, "Oh, he hits the hardest in Magaluf," and that was it. Everyone just called me 917 from then on.
So it's from Magaluf. That's one of the best stories for a nickname I've ever heard. Class, absolutely class.
Mate, it's much better than a lot of the nicknames they used to give me, so I'm happy with 917.
That's got a great story. And I want to ask you as well about your biggest cheerleader, John Gooden. Don't feel like you have to be nice about John Gooden. Tell us how good of a fighter he is. Be real. How many times are you bashing him up and down that gym?
Well, you know what? The trouble with John Gooden is I don't get to bash him up and down anymore because he bottles the rounds with me now. He doesn't want to roll with me anymore and stuff like that.
He's an Arsenal fan.
He gets a bit worried because my heavy top game is too much for him. I start crushing him. So listen, John, I love John, man. I've been training with John since I started. I actually knew John a little bit before that as well. When we played football, I used to play down at Bedmond when he was down there. I've got a lot of time for John. If you see him or you speak to him, tell him he needs to do more rounds with me.
Maybe it's because he switched to that vegan diet. He doesn't have the edge anymore.
You know what, that as well, yes. 100% that is what it is, and I'll give him enough abuse about that. So he needs a little bit more, I think. Yeah, definitely need to eat a bit of meat, and maybe he'll start coming back and training with the big boys. He'll be all right.
You're not a gooner as well, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
That's probably half the reason as well. He's an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Well, Charlie, man, we can't thank you enough for joining us. An absolutely fantastic win. I hope it brings you everything that you needed to bring, and I'm so happy to hear that it got you out of this financial strife. Amazing story, man. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you, man. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All the
Thanks
best,
a million,
man.
bud. Cheers.
Thank you, mate. You take care.
Hello, guys. If you want to hear more of The Bash, you can subscribe to us on all our wonderful channels on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and all that other shit.
And click the links below. Click the links below, the notification button. It comes straight to your phone if we've any fresh content. And also hit the subscribe button. It does help. You're some plonker.
It's very serious.